Hello and welcome to this week's Piggyback Blog webinar. This week we're going to be covering the overview on the SEO Yoast plugin. Now, we did touch on the SEO Yoast plugin quite a bit last week when we were talking about social media marketing. And if you haven't seen that webinar, it is available. And if you want it, I can send it to you again. This plugin is very important. It has a lot of things inside of it, so I wanted to break it down into every single thing that you can touch and play with within this plugin. So everybody knows me if you've been listening to these webinars by now. I'm Tracy Adams, and my role here at Brandco is to become a success coordinator. I'm here to help you be successful in your business through the tools that we've given you with your website and your blogging and everything that you have the opportunity to use. And if you don't know how to use it, I'm here to help teach you, okay? So because I said that we did cover the plugin a bit last week, I'm curious as to how many of you attended last week's webinar. So I'm aware of how our knowledge level is in the group as far as that social component of the SEO Yoast plugin. So I know we kind of went into it a lot last week, but we're going to touch on it again today. 58% of the vote coming in, with 86% saying that they did watch last week and that 14% have not. But that's okay. It's not going to put you at a disadvantage that you didn't watch last week's webinar. We will be going over a lot of information and very specific information to this one plugin. So we're making it as generalized to this one thing as possible. So it's not going to be all over the place. And those that watched last week know a little bit more about some of the things that I'm going to talk about, but we'll get into them just as much this week as last. Okay? So first and foremost, there's a lot of different options inside of the SEO Yoast plugin. If you go to your Piggyback blog, you can see it in here. So inside your dashboard of your Piggyback blog, there's a lot of options underneath SEO, where it says General, Sites, Titles and Metas, Social, XML Sitemaps, Advanced. So we're going to go into each and every one of these. So I'm not going to go back and forth between a Piggyback blog and this unless I feel like it's something that you definitely need to see to understand. But if you're following along with this webinar, you can feel free to do the same thing on your screen and follow through with what I'm talking about. Okay? So let me go back to my slideshow. All right. So General. General has a lot of information in it. Most important thing to be aware of in General is that you're able to go through a tutorial and a walkthrough to see what all SEO Yoast has to give to you. You can update a couple of different things inside there too. You can update your information. You can say that this is my website name, this is the alternate name for my website. You can also specify whether or not you're a company or a person. And this is just kind of that kind of information that you can give into Google that they just, take into account whenever they're rating websites and things like that in the future. Under the Webmasters tool, you're able to add in a verified tag for each one to verify in each search engine like Google and Bing and whatever Yandex and Alexa is. But it's not something that you definitely need inside here. There's another area where you can access your Webmaster tools that we'll come up to in a little bit later. So the next section would be, in my most important section, would be the titles and meta area. So the big thing here is to know what a meta description is. Meta descriptions, technically, in a technical manner, are how HTML attributes that provide concise explanations. Let's just skip that. Anyways, it's the way I like to tell everyone is that it's your pitch in 159 characters to try to get someone to click your link inside of a search engine. As you can see here, this is what your links come up like inside of a search result page. So the top being in the purple means it's a visited page for me, and that is an SEO title. So SEO titles may be the same as your actual title of your page or your post, or you could have edited it and made it look a little bit different to make it a little bit more enticing for the search engine. Below that is the URL to your page. WordPress does a really great thing where they incorporate the title of your blog post or page into the URL string that they give you for that location on the internet. And this allows Google to have a better idea of what that is without having to look through the site to begin with. Below that, you have your meta description. A meta description, like I said, is more so your pitch in order to try to get someone to click on your link on the search result pages. And if you ever hear me say it, a search engine result page is called a SERP in the circle. I'll probably never end up using that inside of any of these webinars. But you have 159 characters in order to try to sell someone on clicking your link. The big thing here to take in is that if you don't set this yourself, it's going to automatically pull the first 159 characters from your content. Now, your content may not begin in a kind of way where it's actually telling anyone what you're actually going to be writing about. I'm that kind of person that writes content to where I kind of do like a little lead in, like a little like, hey, are you curious about this? Has this ever happened to you? And things like that. And that's not really what I would want to show on a search engine result page because it's just doesn't give them an idea that they're actually going to be reading. Within the titles and metas area inside of the SEO Yoast plugin, you're able to manage your metas for each of your pages so that you have a default meta description, whether you've set one or you haven't set one. This will go through and clear out. It won't clear out the ones you've already set, but if there's a page on your site that doesn't have a meta description already set, it will utilize this default one. And it's really nice in case you've forgotten something. So let me go ahead and go to the titles and metas area. So you can decide if you want to use a different kind of separator in between your title and your website title whenever search engines find your content. On top of that, you can set your homepage meta description here as well. Now, you do not have to the ability to do this if you're on eAgency. If your homepage is inside of eAgency, changing this will not do anything for your actual website. If you're one of the people that have went straight to WordPress, meaning your entire website is managed through Piggy Backlog, this will affect it. If you wanted to change your homepage, you could also just do so under Pages, find your homepage, and then edit the meta description on that page. Under post types, there's posts, there's pages, there's media. And you could literally just type in there that the same thing in each one so that if anybody finds any of your information, then they're going to get your content with it. Essentially, if I put a real estate agent that works really hard in this specific area or something like that, then that gives any post that doesn't already have a meta description set, it will automatically use this one. You can also set what your title will show up as, but I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous to understand with all those percent signs, and I don't expect you to. Under taxonomies, these are like categories and tags and different types of formats. You can do this. I don't do it with any of my websites. I mean, if you feel like going above and beyond, this is where you would change those meta descriptions underneath it, so you would have a default one that it would automatically lean on. Archives as well. So if you're pulling for a specific category or a date or like a month, these would utilize, those sections would utilize these meta descriptions. And then other, I wouldn't even touch this page for any reason. All right, so after this, we go into the next section that we talked about last week, which would be the social area. SEO Yoast is really nice for their social ability to manage and make your posts and your pages look really nice on social media networks. So the social profiles that you can connect through the social area include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, MySpace. Had to have a little laugh about the fact that there was MySpace on there. Pinterest, YouTube, and Google+. Now, now by connecting it, I'm not saying that it's going to automatically like post out to it or anything like that. It's just wanting to know like what social media accounts are associated with this website. So it just kind of helps Google know like and interconnect everything all together. The social networks that you can edit the posts for would be Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Google+. Those websites will allow for you to change how your links are going to look when they send it out. So let's just go over here. I apologize if my screen's getting weird. So like here, where you're on accounts, you can add in the URLs for all of your sites. So it would be twitter.com/HelloBrandCo. I don't have our Instagram and all that kind of stuff in here, but if you have them listed here, Google then knows that these websites are associated. Oh, it's a username, not website. That's why it was written that way. Under each of these areas, so if you're under Facebook, you click on Add Open Graph Metadata, and this will allow you to set like a default URL for an image, edit your front page settings as well, so that when someone shares a link from your website to Facebook, you're able to be more in control of how that link will actually look, rather than it just pulling that random photo from your entire blog post to show there. For Twitter, you would have to click Add Twitter Card Metadata, and you can decide whether or not you want to utilize just a summary or if you want to include images with your posts that come out to Twitter. With Pinterest, this is your easy way to verify your Pinterest, so that you can say, yes, this is my website. I do want to pull and use it on there and all that kind of stuff. And you get that code specifically from Pinterest whenever you're trying to connect a website to it. Google+, you just have to click to add the metadata post. And you can put in your publisher page. I'm not quite sure how common it is to actually know what your publisher page is anymore, but essentially your Google+ about page for your actual page, not your profile. Okay, so that's pretty much the social area inside here. I know that we went over a lot of it last week, but you're able to control how your social posts look by using that area. All right, just making sure you do see my pink background in the word social posting now, right, Allison? All right, awesome. All right, so it allows you to have more control, and how you look whenever it comes to your links showing on social media is really important because that's how things get shared. The next feature on SEO Yoast is going to be the XML Sitemaps. Now, we've been asked before, like, hey, I need to make a sitemap. How do I get it? What do I do? Because of SEO Yoast, we don't have to worry about the sitemap. It takes care of it for you. It submits it to Google. It submits it to, I think, a bunch of other locations as well. Yeah, it submits it to a lot of different locations. So it's not something that you have to be concerned about. It's going to take care of it for you. That's because it's in control of all your information anyways. Underneath that is another area called Advanced. Now, I went into Advanced to see what was all inside there, and honestly, it's an area that doesn't need to be edited. If it was me, I probably will never touch that area and do anything inside of it. I mean, yeah, Advanced is always cool. I like to see what I can do with it, but as far as a piggyback blog or the websites that we do, I wouldn't do anything with the breadcrumbs or the permalinks that are located inside there because they will break your links. Okay? Tools. Tools has an area inside of it that allows you to bulk edit all of your blog posts at one time, or your pages even. So let's say you're really deep. You've got like 100 blog posts and 20 pages made because you've had this site for 2 years, and you're like, oh wow, I never even touched this SEO Yoast plugin. This is going to be your savior. So you don't have to click on every single one of those posts and go in and try to edit all those meta descriptions. You can do it all at one time through this bulk editor that's available inside of Tools. So that's awesome. Any opportunity to where you can do something in bulk, always take it. And I said earlier that there would be another way for you to connect to Google Webmasters outside of that general tab under SEO, and this would be it. This is called the Search Console area. And Search Console is apparently the new name for Webmasters. And while there isn't, if you want to get involved in that, you can. What Google Webmasters does is it's a no-charge web service by Google for webmasters. It allows them to check indexing status and optimize visibility of their websites. So if you're getting in touch and doing a lot of fun stuff with Google Analytics, maybe take a look into the Google Search Console and see what they suggest you can do to try to increase visibility of your website. To access that, I've always just gone straight to Google and typed in Google Webmasters and went through there. For any domain that you put inside there, you need to put all versions of it. So if you have an e-agency website with a piggyback blog and you're using search through WolfNet, then you technically have 3 domain names, or technically 4 domain names that you need to be adding to Google Webmasters. One would be www.domain.com, blog.domain.com, and search.domain.com. So they're all being indexed and you're in control of them through your Google Webmasters. After March, maybe I'll do a webinar specifically on the Search Console within Google Webmasters. However, outside of the specific area where you can control the SEO Yoast plugin, there's the area that is within your posts and your pages. Inside of that area, that's where you're able to set individually, as you're writing your blog post, all the information that you want shown on a search result page for Google. So here it shows what the SEO Yoast plugin looks like inside of the post or the page. There's a general tab, a page analysis tab, advanced, and social. So you're able to see your snippet. I showed you earlier what a snippet kind of looked like inside of the search engine results. And it showed you the SEO title and the meta description underneath it, as well as the URL for the website. So this is where you would actually edit that or set it for yourself. So you would say what your focus keyword is, and it's going to run through and find it in separate locations to make sure that your blog post is focused in about a specific subject. The SEO title allows you to set that in the snippet, and this is your meta description. So as you can see, you have 156, I think I've been saying 159, but 156 characters inside of your search engine. And you can see this is the meta description that I had set as our default. So it already says that if I decided to not actually set one specific to this blog post, but you should. So inside of there, if you put in your focus keyword, the areas that your focus keyword needs to be present in are the article heading, the page title, the page URL, the content, and the meta description. Doing all of these things will get you very close to having a green light for SEO. However, if you're not getting a green light, your page analysis tab will tell you more. So let's take a quick look inside of a blog post and see what we could do to make it have a green light. So I've probably done this blog post numerous times, and if you've been watching my webinars for the past good couple of months, then you've probably seen it a good couple of times. So inside here, this is a blog post I wrote about Baldwin Park, and then it's an award-winning community, and it has houses for sale and all that kind of stuff. And down here in the SEO Yoast area, let's just say I'm going to put Baldwin Park for my focus keyword. Baldwin Park is pretty much the focus of the entire thing. So it tells me down here for my SEO title that it's automatically bringing in my whole title for my blog post and then tagging on my website address, my website name being real estate blog. So if I wanted to change this and just say Baldwin Park, or let's just say homes for sale in Baldwin Park, an award-winning community. Oh, still too long. Ooh, what if we take off and? It fits then. Yay. Okay, so our meta description is still what's being missing. It's pulling in our default that we have set through the SEO Yoast plugin, but we need to now set a meta description that kind of gives a summary of what the blog post in full is all about that will entice someone to click on it. So if we go back through and look through our content and try to pull out what could be there, let's see, houses, dog park. Let's just say it's got to have the word Baldwin Park in it in that order. So let's just start it off with that. Baldwin Park is an amazing place to live with great restaurants and a luxurious dog park for all of the community residents. All right, so obviously we could make it a lot longer, but we have 32 more characters that we could fill through here. But it satisfied the fact that we had the word Baldwin Park inside of it, so now it's probably going to say that we have a green light. So if we update the blog post, this is already live on the website, so I can't just go up here and click Save Draft, which is what you would have to do sometimes if you're not seeing your light change after changing anything inside of the SEO Yoast plugin. So what I was saying earlier is if you have all these green and you're like, why don't I still have a green light? Like I've done everything it's told me to. You would go under page analysis. For me, my main goal here is if there's any that are under here that are red, that's my first goal to try to accomplish, to make sure that that one's fulfilled. So it tries to guide you and tell you like, hey, you didn't write enough, you didn't write well enough. And sometimes I don't care what it says about how well I wrote. It asks, things like, you did or didn't add in a this alt text for your photo that includes the focus title, which this one now does. See, alt text, Baldwin Park Homes. So that's what an alt text is. Because Google technically doesn't have eyes to see what these photos look like. It has to read the text about it. And the same thing goes if you put videos inside of your blog post. That's why I always say, like, don't just put a photo or just put a PDF or just put a video. You've got to explain it so that words are there more so than just imagery. So that's this area. And then advanced, I wouldn't mess with. Social is the area corresponding with the social link under here. This is where you're able to set by post or by page what photo you want to display for it, what title, and what description. Now, we talked last week about using this in conjunction with the Jetpack Publicize feature. And like I said, I do have that available, so whenever I send out this email with this recording, let me know, and I will also send you last week's recording as well. So the next question would be, do most of your blog posts have a green light currently? I'm curious if all of them do, if you've been seeing my webinars and going through and, maintaining that SEO Yoast area, or if you have been, watching them and going through and just trying to work on it since, or if you haven't touched the SEO Yoast plugin yet, or if you've just kind of dabbled within it. So it's kind of a spread out bunch of answers, and most of you are looking to be working on it or have done a couple. And like I said, that area where you're able to go and manage your bulk area, that's what I would do. If you've only done a couple or you haven't done any, the best place to go is going to be inside of advanced, or no, tools, under tools, and to just bulk edit all of them at one time so that you can actually have that meta description set, so it's not just pulling that first 156 characters, and that it's not cutting off the titles of your blog post. So if anyone has any questions, this is the perfect time to ask them. Next week, we're going to be having a webinar on anything and everything that I can possibly learn for you regarding Playster at Family Reunion this weekend. So if you're attending Family Reunion, please stop by our booth. I believe it's like 1737 or something like that. We're going to be near the KW large booth, so come and see us. I'll be there, and we'll be enjoying the block party on Sunday night as well. So it looks like we don't actually have any questions, and I'm sorry if this kind of went a little bit over your heads. And this is why we record everything, to allow for you to rewatch. And if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and send them to me. So I appreciate everyone attending this webinar, and I do wish them all the best with their endeavors of trying to learn more and more about engaging with the plugins and information that's given to you through this piggyback blog to make your website much more successful. You can always reach me at tracy@brandco.com, or my phone number, 407-999-0009, extension 115. You can also schedule an appointment with me anytime at calendly.com/bco_Tracy. I love scheduling the appointments, especially if there's something you're not understanding, because I can remote into your computer and we can walk through something together. So I always make that available to you as a resource. So I appreciate everyone attending, and I'm hoping to see most of you this weekend. Have a great week.